Good evening. By the grace of God, we meet while the wires hum and the screens flare with volatility, markets lurching like ships in sudden squalls, nations tightening their jaws, families reading the same headlines with different kinds of ache. Fear grips the world. I say it plainly because you already know it. You feel the tremor in the air, the fast breath under the careful words. And yet I am not here to take anyone's side. This is not a work of attributing right to one camp and wrong to another. This is a turning. When the world shakes, stand in the invisible. Be still and know that I am God. Let that be our opening bell. There is only one power. Hear it until the mind grows quiet. There is only one power. The noises of earth are many, but power is one. The headlines are effects. They are not cause. Policies, prices, and pronouncements are winds on the surface. They are not the sea. In him we live and move and have our being, and there is not a second life, a second law, a second cause, competing for your breath or your bread. I am not asking you to deny the presence of storm, nor to shame your human heart for feeling the wind. I am asking you to relocate cause. Turn to the Spirit for everything. Live through the Spirit now. React only to the Spirit. If I had not watched this in sick rooms, boardrooms, and border towns, if I had not seen panic yield, supply appear, as strange hands meet, I could not speak so quietly. I think of a small harbor town, let it be any town. Let it be the one within you. Sirens once pierced the morning there, and boats ran for cover. The baker, Mara, paused with flour on her hands. She did not argue with the siren. She whispered, "Peace, be still," not to the sky, but to the thought that the sky had power. She stood in the invisible for a minute or two, until the presence became the room. She went on kneading. By noon, the harbor calmed. By evening, neighbors laughed in the lane. I tell you this not as magic, but as governance. Perfect love casteth out fear, and fear, having no root in God, withers when love is the atmosphere. So let us set our non-partisan frame. This is not about whose platform will save us. This is about the one who already sustains us. The government shall be upon his shoulder, and it is not printed on ballots or traded in markets. We will take a simple journey together in these hours, from the roar to the hush, from the audit of fear to the revelation of one power, from the grind to the grace that is sufficient. My grace is sufficient for thee. From reacting to headlines to resting in presence, from lending belief to fear to withdrawing it, so fear starves for want of your consent. From dependence on the visible to reliance on the infinite invisible, until peace within becomes harmony without. When the world shakes, stand in the invisible. Not tomorrow, now. Breathe. And remember, effects are noisy, cause is still. There is only one power, and in that acknowledgement begins the quiet cure of our times. Now let us make, gently but honestly, an audit of fear. In the sick room, it shows its face as a diagnosis, followed by the gasp. What will become of me? In the kitchen, it is the cupboard and the checkbook reading like enemies, and a parent adding numbers while subtracting sleep. At the workplace, it is the memo, the deadline, the rumor that someone will be cut. In our streets, it is the shout across a council chamber, the hardening of jaws at the school meeting, neighbors speaking through slogans instead of through hearts. Across borders, it is the dance of suspicion, navies turning, markets lurching, leaders counting threats as if they were coins. Fear, fear, fear. From the pillow to the parliament, from the heart rate to the interest rate, the same tremor. And yet we are not here to dramatize it. We are here to unmask it. We do not deny appearances. We deny their power. We do not say there are no storms, no shortages, no angers. We say they are not cause. Effects are noisy. Cause is still. Do not fight the shadows on the wall. turn and face the light. God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. If fear were God-given, it would be sacred. It is not. It is a universal suggestion, a collective mesmerism that says the visible rules the invisible. It speaks with many tongues, but it has no root in truth. What then is the remedy? Is material power the solution? Bigger budgets, bigger threats, bigger locks? The answer is no. More bolts on the door do not make the soul safe. You may buy taller ladders, but not peace of heart. This is not taking sides against prudence or policy. It is placing them where they belong as servants, not saviors. We need the sword of the Spirit more than the clatter of armor. We need an inner government that governs reactions before we draft another proclamation. Understand this well. It is not your fear. Do not cradle it as if it bore your name. It is the world's trance passing through your window, and it departs when you refuse it lodging. Smile at it. Withdraw your consent. Say within yourself, "Thou hast no power." And watch how quickly it loosens its grip when you stop supplying it with belief and identity. As fog to the sun, so is fear to realized presence. When fear is unmasked as non-power, the stage is cleared for the one power to be felt. Then governance becomes inward before it is outward, and harmony begins to appear where panic once rehearsed its lines. When fear is recognized as a non-power, we may at last speak plainly of power. There is only one power, not two, not a contest of equals, but one. And it is not in the wind, nor in the purse, nor in the policy. The cause is not out there. The cause is within. Causation belongs to the infinite invisible, the presence that cannot be seen by eye or weighed by scale, yet is more solid than mountains, more reliable than the rising of the sun. He hangeth the earth on nothing. Do you see the paradox? The visible hangs upon the invisible. The things that are made rest upon that which is not made with hands. Effects are shadows on the wall. The light that throws them is within. Hold this as law. All power is within ourselves. The power is in I. I do not mean the personal I, the little autobiographical self that boasts and fears. I mean the I that said before Abraham was, I am, the I of pure being, the presence that Jesus revealed when he confessed, I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works. That I is the one power individualized as your very life. The kingdom of God is within you, not in majorities, not in machines, not in the mood of the day, within. We must be exact about terms. This is not human optimism with a bright coat of paint. This is not trust in each other as if human virtue could sustain a universe. This is not positive thinking, nor suggestion, nor willpower. This is awareness of presence as law, not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit. Spirit is law to its own manifestation. When realized, it governs as effortlessly as gravity holds oceans in their bed. When not realized, we attribute causation to the shadows, to budgets and bullets, to viruses and verdicts, to words spoken too loudly and storms blowing too hard. And then we fear the shadows. But shadows do not push. Light produces them. Therefore, the beginning and the end of our safety is the realization of the one power within. To the degree that we abide there, effects reassemble in harmony. We do not move the pieces of the chessboard faster. We stop believing the board is the game. And then things change. Seas grow quiet before an awareness that says, peace, be still. Not to water, but to the suggestion that water has power. Bodies respond, households breathe, councils soften. If I had not watched this over years, watched doors open where there were no hinges, watched provision come where there were only numbers saying, no, I could not sit here so quietly. The scene rearranges at the touch of the unseen. There is only one power, and it is here. Stand in it, let the light be light, and watch the shadows take their proper place, effects, not cause. Now let us speak of the mode by which the one power clothes itself as sufficiency. In a world that trembles, grace. God's grace is our sufficiency in all things, supply, guidance, safety, flow as gift. My grace is sufficient for thee. Consider the lilies. They toil not, neither do they spin, and yet they are cared for. Not wages from a hard universe, but manna from an unseen heaven. When we live by appearances, we grind. When we live by presence, we receive. We no longer work for a living. The living comes by grace. We still work, yes, but work becomes song after supper expression, not leverage. Service, not survival. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Mark the antithesis clearly. Spiritual armor, not material armor. The sword of the Spirit, not the surgeon's knife. And yet do not hear contempt for tools. Tools have their place. But the steel is servant, not savior. The scalpel is effect, not cause. Without realized presence, tools become idols and strategies turn to grind. With realized presence, a cup of water is sacramental, and simple means carry power because reliance has been transferred from the visible to the invisible. Grace alters identity. The beggar within who counts and hoards yields to the heir who trusts and shares. The anxious clerk becomes a son, free to give. You cease bargaining with life. If I do enough, perhaps I will be kept and begin consenting to life. Thy will be done. Give us this day our daily bread. Consent is not passivity. It is alignment. We do not force outcomes. We witness an intelligence that knows the need before it is spoken. If I had not watched over years, doors opened that no pressure could budge, I would not say it. But I have watched invoices met, fevers broken, empty shelves filled after 5 quiet minutes. There was a nurse I knew, call her Ruth alone on a night shift when alarms began to argue. She closed her eyes for one breath and turned inward. Father, thou art the life here. Instantly she knew which room to enter first, which call to make. It was not speed, it was rightness. Later she said the work was done, I was present to it. How shall we live in uncertain times? Abide first, act next, seek the kingdom, let things be added. Put on spiritual armor before you touch the metal. Take up the sword of the Spirit before you pick up any tool. Do what is yours to do, but as transparency, not as torque. Plan, but do not lean on plans. Save, but do not worship savings. Consult helpers, but rest reliance in the invisible. If this sounds lofty, put it on an if. Test it in one small place. Grace is enough. Let us not postpone this. 90 seconds will do. Close the device. Be still. Breathe. Turn within. Smile lightly. Enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, shut the door of the senses for this 1 minute and a half. No ceremony, no strain. Sit as you are. Let the shoulders drop their argument with the air. Feel the chair hold you, as if the everlasting arms were its frame. One slow breath in, one slow breath out. Be still, and know that I am God. Now, silently, without pushing, declare within, there is only one power. Again, gently, there is only one power. Let the words move from the mind that says them to the awareness that hears them. Do not make meaning. Let meaning make you. Allow the phrase to fall through you like a stone through water until it rests in the quiet floor of being. There is only one power. On the next exhale, let every other claim to power go out with the breath, opinions, headlines, numbers, history. Inhale presence, exhale argument. Smile lightly, then withdraw your consent from fear. Say within, not as a shout, but as a verdict. Fear, you have no power. Not my fear, not their fear, not the world's fear. A suggestion with no root in God. God hath not given us the spirit of fear. Therefore it is not yours. It is not sacred. Do not wrestle it. Deny it. Honor. Smile at it as fog that thought it was stone. Fear, you have no power. Feel the contraction start to release, not because you forced it, but because you stopped financing it with belief. Attend now to the shift subtle, sure. The breath that was high in the chest begins to lengthen. The face softens without being told. The awareness that was narrowed by headlines widens, like a window unlatching. What was concept becomes felt, presence, a quiet radiance, a still hum without words. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee. Reaction loses its throne, governance takes its seat. The government shall be upon his shoulder, not your shoulders, not mine, his. Let that government govern the next thought, the next word, the next small act. Do this whenever the world knocks too loudly, before you answer the phone, after you read the memo, in the car, at the red light, outside the hospital room. 90 seconds is enough to relocate reliance, enough to remember that the cause is within and effects are obedient. Seek first the kingdom in this simple way, and watch what is added. A word spoken softer than you planned, a decision chosen cleaner than you feared, a door noticed that hurry would have missed. Live through the Spirit now. Turn to the Spirit for everything. React only to the Spirit. In under 2 minutes, you can stand in the invisible and feel the gentle Christ still, the inner sea. Peace, be still. And from that inner calm, the outer water knows what to do. Now we take the next plain step. Withdraw consent from fear. Name its trick. Fear arrives disguised as your very self, your thought, your pulse, your story. It whispers, I am you, and you nod without examination. Refuse the masquerade. Fear is impersonal suggestion, not your identity. It is the world's hypnosis knocking at your door. Do not adopt it. God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Therefore, whatever parades as fear does not come from your source. Its life is borrowed. Its only breath is the belief you lend it. Stop financing it and it collapses. How then? The method is simple and it is gentle. Notice the surge, a clench in the gut, a thought that races, a headline that leaps. Do not argue with it. Turn within and declare quietly, as verdict, not as battle, fear, you have no power. Not mine, not theirs, no power. Smile, not as mockery, but as recognition that fog is not granite. Let the breath ease the body, and let the body's easing remind the mind that governance has returned. Perfect love casteth out fear. Release it to nothingness, for nothingness is its native country. Make this your field work. While you read headlines and feel the old ache pull on your sleeve, pause, withdraw consent, and smile within. In a tense meeting, when the room breathes too high and the voices lift, do not take the bait of sides. Become the non-reactive center and let the present set the tone. When the body jitters before the appointment, when the email lands with its sharp subject line, when the children's needs arrive all at once, repeat the inner verdict. Fear, you have no power, and return to the one. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee. This is also love's labor for one another. When a friend trembles before results, when a child cries at night, when a colleague faces a hard room, Hold them in non-fear. Do not try to fix them. Drop the fear about them. Bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Christ. Silently, knowing, say within, the life that is their life is present and sufficient. There is only one power. Refuse to picture them as victims of forces. See them under the government upon his shoulder. Often you will watch the burden lighten as part of your own consciousness. I have watched this quietly for years. Otherwise, I could not ask it. Withdraw consent, and rooms cool, infants sleep, decisions clear. Fear not, little flock. Perfect love does the governing when you stop lending fear your name for good. Having withdrawn consent from fear, we make now a conscious transition, not theoretical, but practiced at the point of choice. Take inventory of your dependencies. Charts, polls, policies, portfolios, personalities, forecasts, calendars, commentaries, committees, useful tools, not masters, screens that glow, spreadsheets that calculate, protocols that advise, let them serve. Do not let them reign. We walk by faith, not by sight. Sight reads the needle. Faith knows the law behind the needle. Sight counts loaves. Faith knows the bread of heaven. We are not about to despise instruments. We are about to dethrone them. I do not mean neglecting prudence. I mean relocating trust from effects to cause. Make the shift deliberately. Entrust outcomes to the unseen law of good. Consult the tools. Rely on presence. Read the chart. Rest in spirit. Hear the policy. Listen for the inner government. Speak to the banker, but lean the heart on the one who said, "The silver is mine and the gold is mine." Meet with the doctor and in the same breath know, "I am the Lord that healeth thee." Not two powers, one power. The visible is effect. The invisible is cause. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. Understanding in this sense is the sum of appearances. Heart trust is consent to the law that governs them. Practice it in the small, where habit is quietly remade. Before decisions, whisper inwardly, "You govern now," and wait one breath longer than your impulse. Then proceed in calm obedience. Sign the paper, if you must, but sign as transparency, not as anxiety. Send the email, but let the tone be chosen by peace, not by pressure. Enter the room, but carry the government upon his shoulder, not on yours. You will find that what is right to do grows simple, and what is not yours to carry drops of its own weight. Sometimes an opening appears that your planning could not have manufactured. Sometimes nothing changes outside, but your step is unhurried, your word unbarbed, and in that gentleness the next door swings free. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Keep the antithesis bright. Reliance, not resistance. Alignment, not argument. Cause first, effects following. You are not abdicating intelligence. You are bathing intelligence in light. You are not dismissing counsel. You are enthroning counsel. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, and it shall be given him. Ask, then act. Abide, then move. Peace emerges in proportion as reliance is relocated from changing effects to the changeless cause. And peace is not only a feeling, it is governance. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee. Stay, whisper, yield. You govern now, and let the infinite invisible carry what never belonged to the visible at all. We must now look at the record of our devices. Centuries have rolled their scrolls across the earth, with wars to finish wars, edicts to curb edicts, bargains to repair bargains. We have hammered new cages out of old bars and called it reform. Is more of the same the answer? The answer is no. Material force cannot heal a spiritual wound, not by might nor by power, but by my spirit. Armies march, papers are signed, and still the heart shakes at midnight. Why? Because fear's root is not in policy, it is in belief. Laws can restrain hands. Only light dissolves shadows. Consider the personal analog. You have argued your way through evenings. You have stacked reasons like sandbags and watched the water rise anyway. Then one night, before the next sentence, you turned within, breathed the sacred name, and felt the weight drop from your chest. You spoke softer, or you did not speak at all. The room changed, not because you conquered a person, but because you refused the suggestion of two powers. A soft answer turneth away wrath. I have sat in such rooms, in homes, in offices, even in council chambers, and watched a conversation that was breaking apart come suddenly into clarity, because one soul sought the kingdom first, and the words that followed were different in tone and temperature. That is the order of operation in all true healing. Realization precedes right results. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Addition follows seeking. Signs follow awareness. These signs shall follow them that believe. We do not push outcomes down the river. We lift the gate within and let the river carry what belongs to go. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of imaginations. Pull down the inner tower of fear, and the outer scaffolds no longer dominate the skyline. Measure rightly, therefore. Success is not forced compliance under a louder trumpet, not brittle smiles secured by exhaustion. Success is peace established within and right action arising of itself, natural, unhurried, exact fruit, not paint. The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith. Where that fruit appears, something real has happened. Where it does not, try no further pressure. Return to the invisible. If I had not witnessed this across years, negotiations thawing when one heart went quiet, symptoms easing when fear's mask was removed, shortages answered after a silent turning, I could not say it so calmly. But grace governs where grind fails. Live through the Spirit now. Seek first, and let what must follow as sign rather than strain. Now let the theory become bread. Test and see. These signs shall follow them that believe. Not tomorrow, today. We will set 3 quiet trials where no one need know but you and God. First, the anxious commute. Horns sharpen, lanes tighten. Your pulse wants to match the traffic report. Second, the difficult email. A message lands like a blow and your fingers hurry to defend. Third, the strained conversation. A neighbor, a colleague, a loved one with whom words have grown barbed. In each case, do not preach it, practice it silently. Make the small place your sanctuary and prove the one power in the ordinary. Protocol is simple. Pause. Close the inner door. Give it 90 seconds. Be still and know that I am God. Declare within, gently, factually, there is only one power. Smile. Withdraw consent from fear. Let timing be governed. Then proceed without rush, as transparency, not as torque. In the commute, notice your hands soften on the wheel. Allow a car to merge. A lane opens. Lights begin to sequence. Or you arrive slightly later with peace and tact. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. With the email, set a watch before your mouth and your keyboard. Before you answer, enter the closet. Breathe once. Declare. One power governs all communication. Here, let your speech be always with grace. Then write from presence, or do not write yet. You may find the sentence that stung dissolves. You may trim half the words. You may place one kind line at the top that changes the rest. Often the reply returns softer than expected or needs no further defense. A soft answer turneth away wrath. With the conversation, do not enter as a combatant. Enter as presence carrier. Listen longer than habit. Allow pauses. Let your eyes say, you are safe with me. If correction is yours to give, clothe it in gentleness. If apology is yours, offer it first. Many times the right hour will reveal itself. Tonight is not the night, and restraint proves to be wisdom's twin. Keep saying within, not to the person, but to the suggestion of twonis. There is only one power. Perfect love governs here. And then journal the subtle. Keep a small book. Write one line each evening without judging outcomes. Note the increased ease, the unexpected help, the better timing, the call you happen to make, the parking space, the word you did not say. Gather up the fragments that nothing be lost. Seed faith grows by noticing. If I had not watched these tiny obediences flower into large deliverances, I would keep silent. But signs follow awareness. Prove it in the small, and watch trust become natural as breath. Having proved it in the small, we turn to the street and the square, to councils and courts and kitchens where policies are felt as bread or as lack. Keep bright the non-binary. This is not attributing virtues to capital or to labor. This is not an argument for party or against party. This is not waving a flag against another flag. We are not here to take sides in human arrangements. We are here to witness the one side, the side of the one power. Righteousness exalteth a nation, not rhetoric. Presence, not propaganda. Our work is to let the infinite invisible be the context of our citizenship, the atmosphere of our speech, the quiet law beneath our votes and our vows. Practice it for leaders and nations as you have practiced it for bodies and budgets. Withdraw fear's power from your thought about public life. Do not picture rulers as puppets of forces. Know them under the government upon his shoulder. Affirm within, calmly, steadily, there is only one power, one presence, guides, corrects, overrules, and illumines. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. He turneth it whithersoever he will. I exhort that supplications be made for kings and for all that are in authority, that we may lead a quiet and peaceable life. Pray thus, not with pleading, but with realization. Refuse the mesmerism that says panic is policy. Smile within at the suggestion that history is bigger than God. In public discourse, be salt, not spark. Refuse alarmism. Bring the inner smile. Bless without arguing. You do not retune a radio by striking the speaker. You adjust the dial. Be the dial. Walk into the meeting, and before a word is said, enter your closet. Whisper one power governs here. Sit in your chair as transparency, not as torque. Hear long, speak little. A soft answer turneth away wrath. If you must differ, differ from presence, not from heat. Do not mirror the hysteria. Mirror the calm. You will find that rooms breathe easier around a single soul who refuses to finance fear. Often the temperature falls, an alternative appears, a sentence lands truer than you could have crafted. Blessed are the peacemakers. Hold as credo what prophets and practitioners have proved. One with God is a majority. A single consciousness clear of fear leavens many. A little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. Ye are the light of the world. Do not hide the light under the bushel of partisanship. Lift it by silent realization, steady courtesy, and the unhurried word. If I had not watched townships ease and offices reconcile when one person stood inside the invisible, I would speak softer here. But I have watched. Therefore, carry presence for the world without sides, without noise, until the peace you host within becomes the quiet law felt without. Let us make this simple and make it daily. Abide in the Word. Spend time in silence. Read, pray, meditate, do good quietly. Abide in me, and I in you. Not visits, habitation. Set a rule of life, not a strain, a rule that fits as easily as breath. Morning stillness, noon remembrance, evening gratitude, and small acts of secret good sown through the hours. Enter thy closet, shut thy door, pray to thy Father which is in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. This is craft, not crisis, cultivation, not emergency. Think of the soil. A sower went forth to sow. Rocky haste yields rocky results. Thorny cares choke tender shoots. The good ground is not an accident. It is ground-tended stones, lifted one by one, thorns pulled with patience, earth watered by regular rain. Your consciousness is that field. Give it water every day. 5 quiet minutes upon waking before the world speaks. Be still and know that I am God. Read a paragraph of living truth. Do not race. Let one sentence ripen. At noon, 90 seconds to return. There is only one power. At day's end, gather the fragments of the day, notice the mercies, and give thanks. This constancy softens clods, deepens root, and prepares fruit without strain. He shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water. Keep boundaries bright. Do not convert this into superstition. No charm, no token, no schedule worshipped as Savior. The rule is servant to grace, nor into passivity. Grace does not excuse indolence. Grace orders right activity. Not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. Plan, but hold plans lightly. Act, but act as transparency, not as torque. Faith without works is dead, and works without presence are dust. Cooperate with grace by prompt, gentle obedience to the inner leading. When the quiet voice says, wait, wait. When it says, call, call. When it says, apologize, apologize. Obey the gentle impulse. It is wiser than the hurry of fear. Make a litany for the day, short enough to remember, strong enough to steer. Turn, trust, withdraw, fear. Obey the gentle impulse. Give thanks. Whisper it at thresholds, before the door opens, before the call begins, before the purchase, before the word. Turn away from appearances toward the infinite invisible. Trust, relocate, reliance, from effect to cause. Withdraw fear. Thou hast no power. Obey, move with the inner government. Give thanks, seal the moment in grace. In time, this ceases to be effort and becomes atmosphere. Reliance grows natural. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. If I had not watched this, season upon season, I could not speak so quietly. But I have watched. Consistent abiding prepares consciousness for grace's effortless work. Abide in the Word. Spend time in silence. Read, pray, meditate, do good quietly. Keep the soil, and let the fruit appear of itself. Herein is my Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit. Now, beloved, we come to the simple seal. All along we have been saying one thing in many ways. There is only one power. Grace is our sufficiency. Fear is no power at all. Reliance belongs not to the changing scene, but to the infinite invisible within you. We have turned. We have withdrawn consent. We have practiced the quiet minute and a half. We have learned to let tools be servants and not saviors. So let it be gathered into a single posture of heart. Rest and let God be God. Feel, if you will, the presence of the gentle Christ. No drama, only that soft awareness that says, I am here, lo, I am with you always. This presence does the governing. The government shall be upon his shoulder. To storms without and storms within, the word is the same. Peace, be still. Do not work to make it so. Consent to what already is. In that consenting, you will feel the weight roll from your shoulders as from a stone. You were never asked to carry the world. You were asked to abide. Abide now. And when the news shouts, when markets tremble, when rooms heat, remember your sentence and keep it as a staff. When the world shakes, stand in the invisible. Say it softly. Repeat it if you must. When the world shakes, stand in the invisible. Stand, not argue, not scramble, not take sides. Stand. Smile at fear's costume, and let it pass as fog does before the morning. God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Withdraw your name from fear's ledger. Give your name to love. Go now quietly, governed from within. Carry peace the way fragrance follows a flower, without effort, without explanation. Bless the next face you meet. Let your speech be always with grace. In your house be the unhurried center. In your work be transparency, not torque. In your city be leaven. Blessed are the peacemakers. You are not sent to fix the world. You are sent to reveal the kingdom that already governs it. The Lord is your shepherd. You shall not want. Goodness and mercy follow you, and through you, others will find rest. So I leave you with the litany made simple. Turn, trust, withdraw fear, obey the gentle impulse, give thanks, and over it all, keep the seal. There is only one power. Now stand in the invisible. Let grace govern, and let fear be nothing. Peace be unto you. Walk softly, look kindly, work steadily. The one goes before you, the one walks with you, the one keeps you. Thou wilt keep him in peace.